Hey everyone, before the story begins, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel and stay with me until the end. This one unfolds slowly, and every detail matters. I didn't mean to listen. The hallway light was off, the apartment quiet except for the hum of the refrigerator and the distant tram bell drifting in through the open window. I had just returned from a late shift at the logistics office near Alexanderplatz, my coat still damp from the Berlin drizzle. I paused by the kitchen door because I heard my stepson's voice. Tight, urgent, unfamiliar. "Yes," he said. "I already cut the brake. See you." Silence followed. Then my wife's voice, low and controlled. "Be careful. Don't say anything else." My hand stayed on the doorframe. My breath stalled in my chest. The words hovered, unreal, like a sentence spoken in a dream that refuses to dissolve when you wake. I stepped into the light. They both turned at the same time. Lucas went pale first. My wife, Anja, recovered faster, too fast. "You're home early," she said. I looked at Lucas, 17, tall, my height now. The same cautious eyes he'd had at 9 when I first met him, standing behind his mother's leg like a shadow that didn't trust the sun. "What break?" I asked. "No, nothing," Lucas said quickly. "It's not." Anja cut him off. "He's talking about his bike," she said, placing a hand on his shoulder. "Teenage nonsense." I nodded once, slowly. "Go to your room, Lucas." He hesitated, then obeyed. His footsteps too loud on the wooden floor. When his door closed, Anja faced me with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "You look exhausted," she said. "We'll talk tomorrow." But there would be no tomorrow without tonight. I married Anja 12 years ago in Potsdam, under chestnut trees heavy with summer. Lucas was 5 then. His biological father, Eric, had died in a motorway accident near Leipzig, rear-ended by a truck that never slowed. Tragic, random, closed case. I believed it. I had no reason not to. I became the steady one, the man who showed up. I helped Lucas with homework, taught him how to tie a tie, sat through school meetings where teachers praised his intelligence and warned about his temper. I worked hard, quietly, moving freight schedules across borders, believing that stability was the greatest gift a man like me, raised by a bitter, broken father, could offer. My own father had been a railway technician in the East, laid off after reunification with a handshake and a pamphlet. He never recovered, drank, raged, then withdrew until he became a ghost in his own home. I learned early that survival meant silence, patience, and watching carefully. So that night, I watched. Anja didn't sleep. Neither did I. She lay on her side, back to me, her breath measured. At 3:12 a.m., she got up and went to the bathroom. I listened to the soft click of the cabinet. Pills? A phone? I didn't move. By morning, the city was washed clean by rain. Lucas left without breakfast. Anja kissed my cheek, lingering just a second too long. "Drive safely," she said. I smiled. Always. I didn't take my car. I called in sick and took the S-Bahn to work instead. From the platform, I watched my car parked where I'd left it the night before. When a mechanic friend arrived an hour later, someone I trusted from years back, I asked him to look, quietly. He didn't take long. "Your brake line's been cut," he said, voice low. Clean, deliberate. The world tilted, then steadied. Betrayal, I discovered, doesn't always explode. Sometimes it settles into your bones, cold and heavy. I didn't confront them, not Anja, not Lucas. I began with questions that didn't sound like questions. Old documents, insurance files, police reports from Eric's accident 12 years ago. A pattern emerged. Not proof, but coincidence stacked neatly atop coincidence. Eric had been arguing with Anja before his death. Financial pressure, custody threats, and a life insurance payout that had saved her from losing the apartment. Lucas was too young then to understand. Or maybe he wasn't. I started listening more closely at dinner, watching Lucas's moods, his resentment when I corrected him, his sudden loyalty to his mother when we disagreed. He wasn't a monster. He was a boy raised on a story that painted me as temporary, replaceable. Anja worked in municipal procurement, boring title, powerful reach. I began to notice names, companies that appeared in her emails, firms tied to safety inspections, transportation contracts, the same kind of systems that had crushed my father without ever acknowledging him. I contacted an old colleague in Hamburg, someone who'd left logistics for investigative work. Hypothetically, I said, what happens when procurement decisions and accidents overlap? Hypothetically, she replied, careers end. The plan wasn't revenge. Not yet. It was clarity. The turning point came in November. Fog rolled over the spree, swallowing bridges whole. Lucas was suspended from school after a fight. Another boy hospitalized, nothing fatal, but close enough to frighten. Anja defended him. They provoked him. I watched Lucas's hands tremble at the table, his jaw clenched. He doesn't understand consequences, I said quietly. Anja's eyes flashed. You don't understand loyalty. That night, I recorded everything. Not illegally, just openly, calmly. I asked Lucas to explain what he'd meant in the kitchen weeks earlier. I thought you heard, he said finally, voice breaking. She said it was the only way, that you were going to leave us anyway. Anja burst into tears then, real ones. I was afraid, she said. You were pulling away. I couldn't lose everything. I thought of my father, of systems that justify destruction with fear. I turned the recorder off. The climax didn't come with police sirens. It came with an audit. Anonymous tips triggered reviews of procurement contracts Anja had overseen. Discrepancies surfaced, conflicts of interest. Whispers became headlines. Anja was suspended pending investigation. Lucas was questioned, not charged, but shaken. Therapy followed. The truth, once spoken aloud, refused to stay contained. I moved out. Months later, the case against Anja collapsed into a settlement. No prison, but no career either. Reputation tarnished beyond repair. She called me once, voice hollow. Did you plan all this? I planned to live, I said. You planned to end it. Lucas wrote me a letter from his therapist's office. Not an apology. An explanation. Fear passed down like inheritance. Stories that teach boys what they owe and to whom. I keep the letter in a drawer. On quiet evenings, I walk along the river. Berlin keeps moving, layered and scarred, indifferent to individual betrayals. I breathe easier now. I wasn't meant to hear that sentence in the kitchen. But sometimes, survival begins with overhearing the truth and choosing not to disappear.